The Aviation Matters bring you all the latest information and events across the country under the Honorable Minister of Aviation on executives, policies, projects, and everything that's related to the aviation transportation industry. Stay tuned.
The Federal Ministry of Aviation has the overall responsibility for formulation of management of government aviation policies in Nigeria. The ministry is also directly responsible for overseeing air transportation, airport development and maintenance, provision of aviation infrastructural services, and other needs of aviation industry. This episode looks at the Federal Ministry of Aviation, its achievements, and achievements under the leadership of Senator Hadi Siraka, the Minister of Aviation. The ministry was once empowered under the Nigerian Civil Aviation Act of 1964 to make policies and regulate air navigation. The Nigerian Ministry of Aviation also ensures that the Nigerian aviation sector conforms with the requirements of the International Civil Aviation Organization, the global body for setting the international standards for the aviation industry. For the ministry to succeed, there are several numbers of departments that handle professional duties such as human resource management, air transport management, safety and technical policies, aerodrome, procurement, planning, research and statistics, finance and accounts. The Minister of Aviation, Senator Hadi, briefed on the scorecard and aviation roadmap of the ministry and its achievements.
In civil aviation, our major concern is how very safe and secure you depart point A and arrive at point B and everything in between. This is our primary concern, it's our focus. It is what we want to do, not anything else. Yes, we may have fantastic terminal buildings that looks great, but you have to arrive there safely and be secured before you're able to enjoy those terminal buildings.
The minister said the federal government under President Muhammadu Buhari is desirous of supporting the development of dedicated cargo-aligned terminals and infrastructure to take advantage of the fresh produce potential of Nigeria. He noted with the establishment of the allied cargo terminals, the nation's economy will enhance, thereby creating exports to earn foreign exchange, transfer of technology and create employment for its youths.
Then we thought that we should develop an agro-allied cargo terminals that will be exporting and also transporting within the country perishable items, especially those that are like medicines, like food, tomato, chili, onions, and so on. Because if you are to put tomatoes from Katsina, for example, to take them to Port Harcourt, it takes 28 hours to go there, and half of it will perish. And you sell it for peanuts. If you are to fly it to Port Harcourt, it will take you 55 minutes to get there. It will go there fresh. As a matter of fact, you can pluck tomato from Katsina and have it on your dinner table in London. And a handful of tomatoes in London is 10 pounds. A whole basket in my village during the harvest is 2,000 naira. And we know how many handfuls will make a basket, and we know how much the exchange rate is when you do the math. So it's a huge opportunity to ginger up our economy, to create exports, to earn foreign exchange, to give knowledge to our people, to transfer technology, and to keep people busy and employ our youth through the agro-allied cargo terminals.
According to him, places have been concluded to establish an aerospace university to address the challenges of qualified and specialized manpower in the nation's aviation sector, noting that the university would be world-class and would collaborate with some famous institutions.
To establish an aerospace university. We started this journey in civil aviation with countries like Brazil. We started our own in Zaria in 1963, partnership between UNDP, yes, Al-Kali, UNDP, Nigerian government. And since then, and perhaps that's the year the director was born, Captain Al-Kali Modibo. Since then till now, we don't produce even rivets as a nation. But Brazil, that we started together, is producing aircraft of all kinds. So we think that we should have a university to go deeply into research and development and focus on research and development and create those opportunities within our sector. Turn out those young men and women with good brains to go into the venture of aerospace, the venture of aviation.
It could be recalled that in July 2018, the federal government unveiled the branding and label for the new airline Nigerian Air and stated the courier would be inaugurated at the end of the year. The minister, Senator Hadi, unveiled the carrier at a press conference during the Thoroughbrun Air Show in London that year. In his speech, the minister said the emergency of COVID-19 delayed the conclusion of plans, as well as the takeoff of the project, which he maintained that the federal government is still committed to.
On the national carrier. And please also do me justice. Every time that I speak, you choose one or two things, either the national carrier or the concession of the airport, and you make it topical. I think we've spoken so much about that. Okay? Just trust me, fellow Nigerians, that we'll be able to deliver a very robust carrier that will be for the size of our economy. And we're on course. We have gone past almost the project development phase, which we did, completed with development of OBC, which is the outline business case. And we got a compliance certificate from the ICRC, which is the regulator of all of this. And then we went to FEC, which is the Federal Executive Council, with our OBC. And FEC told us to go back and rework the OBC and bring it back. It's our intention that we'll take the OBC back to FEC perhaps next Wednesday or then Wednesday after next. And if it's approved, then of course we will just go to market. And there's huge interest in this because they understand what the Nigerian market is doing.
The Nigerian government also announced approval of 4 international airports as special economic zones. The minister said the 4 airports comprised of the Muritala International Airport, Lagos, the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, the Port Harcourt International Airport, and the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport. According to him, the announcement followed the approval granted by President Muhammadu Buhari to the effect.
We've already designated our 4 airports. We achieved that as export processing zone, and you know that it will create around the airport a more efficient, business-friendly trade environment, with less bureaucracy on one side, and of course red tapeism, because of the associated fiscal incentives and packages that the Ministry of Trade and Investment had done. So also it will have the capacity to attract international world-class companies that are into civil aviation, because they have more friendly atmosphere to do so. And all of the incentives given will now attract more investments, like a tax holiday and so on. And the FDIs will improve and increase. And the overall ease of doing business, which the Office of the Vice President, His Excellency, has been doing tremendously very well in this regard. Everybody will agree to us that it's much easier now to do business in Nigeria than before. It will also help us to fast track the upgrade and development of new infrastructure facilities around the airport. And it will also allow us to harness socio-economic benefits that are all around civil aviation industry. So Mr. President has approved this on 17th of May 2021. So we're on our way implementing the next steps, in association with NEVSA and the agency doing it.
They also provided more details of its plan to concession the 4 major international airports in the country. The Muritala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, which accounts for over 60% of the international flights in Nigeria, Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, Port Harcourt International Airport, and Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, are all to be concessioned to private managers, the minister said.
Airport concession, which is our next one. Where are we? We have developed an OBC, an outline business case. We have received the certificate from ICRC. And we're going to use that now to develop the full business case to which Federal Executive Council will approve. And then we go to market. So the concession of the airport is topical. Is the way to go. If we all know what Lagos is like, Lagos Airport. Lagos Airport was designed in 1979 to look after 2 million passengers per annum. 2 million passengers per annum. Then they built the wing D and E only to cater for 200,000 people. Today, Lagos is doing 8 million passengers. So where you have 200,000 people, a space of 200,000 people, you provided their toilets, their lifts, travelators, escalators, etc., and shops and restaurants for only 200,000 people. Now 8 million people are using it. That is the story of Lagos. Happily, Mr. President, when we came in, we met an intention and a plan to put 5 airports. 4 from Chinese loan of $600 million total. And of course, 1 from federal budget, which is the Enugu one. My first instinct when I became minister in 2015 is, why should we continue this way? Luckily, we haven't gone beyond 10%. That we should save our money. Save our money and concession those airports and bring in private sector to put in their money.
The ministry has 6 parastatals under its supervision, on which the minister took time to read the success stories of these agencies, sector by sector. Minister of Aviation, Senator Hadi, says Nigerian College of Aviation Technology, Zaria, has successfully built a 737 flight simulator building which has cost government about $21 million meant for training of 737 pilots. Recalls that NCAT was designed to be a training center for Nigerian and African pilots, aircraft maintenance engineers, and navigation aid technicians.
We built a 737 flight simulator building, and we've acquired one at the cost of $21 million, and we put in Zaria for training of 737 pilots, because they are the majority in Nigeria, is the most popular airplane around this sub-region. So we chose 737 to do it. And of course, we have a fire and smoke automatic simulator that we bought. One day I found myself approving $250,000 repeatedly to send our firemen to Cameroon for training, retraining, because with no fire cover, no airport will open. So fire cover is a tick for an airport to open. So it's a must that we should train our airmen. But we do it in Cameroon, not in Nigeria. So I asked, how much will it take to bring the simulator here in Nigeria? They told me the manual one is about 700 million. Yes, Captain Rabi Yadudu. But the automatic one that will do all kinds of fire, simulate all kinds of fire and quench it and hold it, is about 5.2 billion Nigerian naira. So I ran to Mr. President. I said, sir, Nigerians are going to Cameroon to get trained and retrained and get their proficiency and competency from a facility in Cameroon, which is manual. Please give me money to go and establish one in Zaria. And of course, he gave me the money, National Assembly approved, and we established the fire and smoke simulator is in Zaria. We looked at the training in Zaria also. The training is using an old airplanes that are using aviation gasoline, Avgas, which is very expensive and not available. So we also again went to Mr. President and he gave us money to start procurement of aircraft. We brought in 7 numbers so far, 1 multi-engine and 6 other that are single engine for training. And they are using Jet A1. We've reduced the cost of training by about 30%. And they're all delivered right now in Zaria.
The The Accidents Bureau Nigeria is under the Federal Ministry of Aviation and is charged with the responsibility to investigate any civil aircraft accidents and serious incidents arising of or in course of the air navigation and occurring either or over Nigeria or occurring to Nigerian aircraft elsewhere. The minister said the fundamental objective of AIB is to improve the aviation safety by determining the circumstances and causes of air accidents and serious incidents, and providing safety recommendation intended to prevent reoccurrence or similar accidents, of which he said the purpose is not to proportion blame or liability.
Part of our roadmap is that we want to make this accident investigation a multimodal one, not necessarily peculiar and focused on accidents in aviation or civil aviation. So we've got currently now a very competent commissioner in charge, Engineer Akin Olateru, and we thought that AIB should include maritime aviation sector at least, so that we will cover every aspect of transportation except perhaps roads. But we'll do rail, maritime, and aviation.
He further gave an insight on the achievements of other agencies under his ministry, noting the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari has made more impact than what it used to be.
And in the process, of course, we rehabilitated Kaduna Airport. Similarly, we went to Enugu. I saw for myself, I'm not being told, during the last regime, they had wheelbarrow, with gravels and bitumen, and if the aircraft will land, they will go there. After landing, all of the holes that will create on the runway, they fill it with those gravels and bitumen, and then wait for another airplane to either take off or land, and they go and do the maintenance repair. I saw it in myself, and I went back and I saw a huge crater, about 10 meters, right at the middle of the runway. So I told President, sir, not minding that you are marginalizing U-boats, as they say, you aren't doing that at all. You've done so much for the southeast of this country, but you have to do again also. You have to give me money to go and fix Enugu. He gave the money, 10 billion, and we also delivered it on time. Even though COVID came in to distort it, we gave it a renewed date due to COVID, and we achieved it before that date. And now we have one of the best runways in Africa in Enugu. Not only that, we've done quite a number of projects in Enugu, which later you see in the document, the pictures of how it is looking. So we talked about the Lagos Terminal building, Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt was reported as the worst airport in the world by CNN. A lady who said she's a Nigerian, I remember her, came and did program. I think that lady's name is Zain Arshan. And she said in Nigeria that civil aviation is so bad that they are doing tuke, lifting passengers from one point to the next and then join and pick like an Uber service. But civil aviation should be like that. Why not? You should hop from one place to another and take passengers. They do it in the US more than anywhere else. Perhaps she's not informed. Perhaps she doesn't know. But civil aviation should be like that. Should be from one point to the next. That's the whole idea of transportation. So from the worst airport in the world, Port Harcourt now is one of the best in the world as well. So from worst to best. Thanks to President Buhari, who came and met in Tabao in the fields for many, many years, changing and going back and forth. But we forced him to finish. He's like a 90-year-old man. We forced him to finish the old Port Harcourt, and we delivered the new one to the glory of God. So Kano, Mr. President, will open it soon. It's finished. Lagos also. We will just remove those hangars and open Lagos as well. Really, Port Harcourt was a sorry story before, You remember when people used to go inside shades and tarpaulins and so on? Yeah. And the CNN came and said it's the worst airport in the world. But they haven't come back to say now it's the best airport in the world. They will report that. But I pray they go back and take another look. NIMET is that agency that has been telling you about weather. You would know the importance of weather until when you decide to fly. Almighty weather, or you're a farmer, or you're in the high sea. You should be concerned about what weather is doing. Or you're a local government chairman and there's flood in your villages, washing away all those thatch houses and so on. So weather is extremely very important and is a daily affair, and we develop some capacity around it. By the way, we have been giving weather information in this country since 1887. Since 1887. You see in the pictures how we've installed lots of equipment around and dotted the country during the Buhari administration. These are things that passengers don't see. It's very easy for you to see railway. It's also very easy for you to see roads. It's also very easy for you to see a school. But what we do that are in the bushes and the remote locations, and the Buhari has been pumping in money there and energy, you don't see, but they work. NAMA's activity are things that you don't see, you don't even know. You just don't care. You just enter your airplane, carry a bag, fight small on whose seat it is, get your seat and put your bag and land in Lagos, and off you go to your house. But how that will happen, how you'll get into Lagos safely, is all the activity of NAMA. Perhaps maybe I'll just, when I give you the document, you'll see all of the equipment that we've been installing all over the place. But I'd like to mention some out of the very, very many we've done. And I know the one that will interest you, and that's what will be the focus. I know how you work, my gentleman of the media, is ILS category 3. Well, ILS is just instrument landing system. It's a radio equipment that you installed at the airport to tell you exactly what is the center line of the runway and where does it begin, the threshold. So that you put your airplane at the center line of the runway and at the beginning of the runway threshold to take advantage of the long distance of the runway and do the landing run and stop. It guides you to come in there. So in bad weather, in fact, even if blindfolded, once you can see the equipment inside, you should be able to guide the airplane and land at the center line and at the threshold. So, but maybe they are graduated, if you like. You have the category 1, the category 2, the category 3. One, efficient one, precise, accurate, but then it becomes more precise when it gets to category 2, and it becomes more precise when you go to category 3. And in 3 you have ABC, and the C version of it will enable you to land 0-0. So whether there is weather in Kano, Maiduguri, Lagos, bad clouds, even if the cloud is touching the ground, you should be able to land safely. So we put in how many airports, Captain Fola? The category 3 for now. For now we have in 5 airports, but we are going to put in 15, category 3, to be able to land no matter the weather, i.e. in terms of visibility, to be able to land there. We're also putting from NIMET low-level wind shear alert system in very, very many airports. I think the ambition is to put in 22 airports, and I'm sure we've gone very far, more than 50%.
Civil aviation is a critical element in Nigeria's transportation system and indeed its economy. Nigeria has about 22 airports and many regulated airstrips and heliports.